Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by the inevitable, blah, 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 blah.
Stuttering, muttering prick you.
That's Robinson, author of Fight. Everything you ever want to know about ass kicking, but we're afraid to get your ass kicked for asking.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we've congregated here for the Care Don't Care preview of UFC on Fox 21 featuring Demian Maia versus Carlos Condit, and a match that has those of us who call ourselves connoisseurs salivating just a tad. So, Eugene, we've got a little disclaimer.
The disclaimer. Crybabies, bedwetters, greedy bread gobblers, work-shy individuals. The Care Don't Care preview has more to do with the marketing heft and the weight that the Baldwin and Zuffa puts behind you. And less about your skills or talents as a human being or a fighter. So if you're on the don't care list, know that there is hope, that there are many who move from don't care to care, like Bok Choy and Chris Collard-Greens and Paul Felder and so on. Take heart, fight an interesting fight, and you'll move from don't care to care, but don't take it personally. Crybabies, bedwetters, work-shy individuals, greedy bread gobblers, et al.
Brilliantly stated, succinct, to the point. And
well, I don't know about that.
Well, I wasn't going to say you gas bagged on, you old
yeah.
All right, so how are we feeling about this? And we just had the biggest UFC of the year last Saturday, and now we're rolling into UFC on Fox.
I think I just got some news that really that actually shits on that, but in a pleasant way. So UFC 202 had the third most pay-per-view buys in UFC history, behind UFC 196, which was in March, and UFC 100, which was back in 2009. Wow. So technically not the biggest fight of the year, but noteworthy nonetheless.
Yes, quite noteworthy. But we look forward, not background here. We're like the Obama.
It's like in the famous Richard Pryor, Dana Carvey scene in the movie Moving. They say, hey, man, I'm not about going back. I'm about going forward, you know.
I didn't realize Richard Pryor lowered himself to doing a movie with Dana Carvey.
Oh, well, you think that was the bottom rung? Are you fucking kidding?
Poor man must have been quite ill by that point.
I guess you didn't see the only one that he did when he was in the wheelchair that was any good was Lost Highway. And he did another one in a wheelchair. He fucked up Eddie Murphy's vampire movie. He had a lot of stumbles, man.
Yeah, well, you know. Yep. What are you going to do? All right, Eugene. So our general care levels for this card as a whole are...
Well, I'm a Demian nut jumper. So if on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this a 6 or 7.
6 or 7? All right. And I'm going to predict...
And this is if last week's was a 10.
Yes. I believe that would be fair. And I'm going to give this one I'm going to predict that you're going to care about 5 fights on this card.
Ooh, that's sort of aggressive. Okay. All right, I'm ready.
All right. So here we go. So 3 fights on Fight Pass prelim card, and none of them are what you would call like.
Oh, wait, hold on. And this is when? Saturday?
Saturday, Big Fox. This is on Big Fox, except for 3 fights on Fight Pass.
Saturday on Big Fox with 6.5 hours of commercials. All right.
It'll be less commercials than a Fox Sports 1 show. And It'll start and wrap earlier. That's the beauty of the Fox cards. They wrap a little earlier.
Yep.
So for those of us that are elderly and like to stay up late and get up early in the morning with kids, the candle burning at both ends can take a brief hiatus. All right, so we've got 3 on the prelim card, and none of them are what you would call a feature bout, as they sometimes put big-name fighters, surprisingly big-name fighters, on the Fight Pass card. They're not doing that. This week we've got lightweights Alec, Ricci, and Jeremy Kennedy.
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
Me neither. Sorry, guys. Middleweight, Ryan James, Adam Hunter.
Don't care.
Nope. Lightweight, Chad Laprise versus Thibault Gouti.
Almost, not quite.
Because of how interesting Thibault's name is?
No, because of Laprise.
Ah, I see. I find Thibault Gouti, I mean, you know, you could have told me that was the inventor of Turkish popular music, and I wouldn't have known any different. But it's not even a Turkish name. What kind of ignorant, insensitive dumbass am I?
I had a friend in high school named Farid Tabi, and he was Turkish, and we used to go out discoing together. But this is where I realized the limitations of discoing Turks, because he was fairly chaste. So he could dance. It was a really handsome guy, so it would attract the women, but you know, he was all over that religious stuff, so he wasn't about trying to get him in corners and, you know.
I see. Well, couldn't you swoop in and close the deal?
Yeah, typically though, we were attracted to different types of women, so you
Oh,
know, I was going for like 35-year-old secretaries.
down to business.
Yeah, to the soundtrack of Push Push in the Bush. You know I like to get down. Fuck, man.
A lovely sentiment. A lovely sentiment. God bless the human.
Hey, musique. Look it up. Musique.
Hey, no, I remember that one. All right, so all right, now we're on to the Fox card. There's 4 fights on the Fox prelim card, starting with lightweight Shane Campbell versus Felipe Silva.
I don't give a fuck.
Again, we're
look at my tote sheet. There's my tote sheet right now. All it has is the number 5 at the top.
Yep. So middleweight Gareth McLellan versus Alessio de Chirico.
Don't care.
Again,
except I wonder if the Chirico is related to the famous painter.
I'm so ignorant. I didn't even know there was a famous painter with that name, but I'll take your word for it. Featherweight Enrique Barzola versus Kyle Bochniak. I
do not care.
Again. All right, so now we're all the way to the top of the second prelim card, and I think you're going to give a care to this one, but I could be wrong. Middleweight Smiling Sam Alvey versus Kevin Casey.
Yeah.
Because of Smiling Sam or because of Kevin?
Because of Smiling Sam, you know.
Yeah. Kevin Casey, for me, as you know, is nearly an anti-care.
Yeah, almost an anti-care. But you know what has not happened, and I fully expect it to happen, and I fully expect it to happen at the hands of somebody like Smiling Sam Alvey, in-cage nervous breakdown.
On the behalf of Casey?
You remember that guy in the early UFC who came out this fucking psychotic whirlwind of the big Dutch guy, I think he was, of elbows and knees, and just he had created his own martial.
Are you thinking of Remco Pardul?
Yes, yeah. He just knees, elbows, and that was his one fight. They were just like, whatever that was too fucking crazy. He's not coming back. They said
Hoist choked him out in his second fight, and then he went and fought in Shudo and got beat up badly by a guy named Carl Franks.
That's right. Well, people had figured out his crazy style, but no, I mean an in-cage breakdown where he just like, who you laughing at? Who you? You know, when they have come out and like escort him out.
Yeah. Well, that's the one where he fought the much smaller Muay Thai fighter who looked like a killing machine, Orlando Veit, in the prelims. And Remco was about twice the guy's size, did a judo toss on him, started elbowing him in the head, and then realized, wow, I'm a big, powerful man. And when I elbow bomb somebody in the temple, they die. Remember when he held his arm up and it just dropped? And the ref had to step in at that point? Yes. Yeah. I don't anticipate any sort of ghoulishness along those lines from Smiling Sam Alvey versus Kevin Casey. And I'm going to boldly go out and have a pick because I'm fearless. I'm picking Casey.
All right, and just for the sake of the game, I will pick Smiley Sam.
It'll be more fun if Smiley Sam knocks him out, but I predict Casey's going to lay and pray him.
Okay, well, I pick Smiley Sam just to be funny.
I see, and
man, that's when you know it's like I'm gonna $5 bet because just to be funny. I don't even give a fuck, but I wrote it down.
I'm working with a high roller, ladies and gentlemen. And why are you dressed as a member of ISIS today?
No, it's not ISIS. It's Laibach.
Laibach. I see. A little different effect.
Life. When we all had the power, we all had the best.
Now, would it be fair to call them an Austrian?
No, Slovenian.
Even worse. My God. Oh, sorry. So sorry.
Laibach was the German name of the Nazi occupation, the German name of Ljubljana.
But there's a band called Laibach.
That's what I'm talking about.
They were Slovenian too?
Man, what's the matter with you? I'm talking about Laibach, the band from Slovenia, from the town called Lublin.
Yeah. That's no longer called Laibach. Okay, so.
And who have been quoted as saying, we are if we're fascist, then Hitler was a painter.
So would you, and the first thing when you Google image them is them wearing SS uniforms,
No, they're wearing Sam Browns. You don't see swastikas or anything. Okay, they're messing with the fascist form.
Would you call them techno or industrial?
Oh, I would call them industrial.
Industrial. Okay.
Techno, you can actually sort of try to dance to.
I see. That's the difference. Because it's not actually a matter of sonic toughness.
No.
It's just
they're more a theater group that uses music, and one of the most genius things that I saw that they did was to have all of their stage banter pre-recorded.
now that's sufficient.
Fucking A. So, and they stand there between songs like that, and a voice comes over, "Hello, San Francisco." That's like, fuck, it was really pretty great. So.
Oh, we love it. We love it. All right. So now we're moving on to the main card. 4 fights. I think they're all cares. And first up, we've got lightweights Joe Lauzon versus Jim Miller. And hasn't this fight happened once already? And didn't both guys lose a ton of brain cells?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have accepted this if I was these guys. Like
it's got to be a weird thing and a weird place to be, right? Like you ever think for half a second of what it must be like to be Joe Lauzon? I mean, from his point of view, at least he's not working. He's not a clam digger. He's like in New England.
He's an IT guy, though. Like, how hard would it be to go back to, telling people to, have you tried turning it on?
Yeah, I somehow think it would be slightly tough to be him. I mean, it's like
tough to be anybody, Eugene. You never know what kind of journey someone's on. That's why you gotta hug every stranger you see on the street. Give him a great big hug. See how that goes.
My old lady, a homeless guy, tried to dun her for money yesterday. She looked at the guy. He was healthy, about 38 years old. She goes, "Are you kidding me?" The guy was like, "No, I want to buy a donut." She goes, "When I was starving, you know what I did for fucking food? I stole it, and
there's a lecture for you."
And then she goes, "There isn't somebody right now in America who wouldn't pay money to see you suck a cock. Why don't you do that?" I was like, "Baby, you can ease up." She goes, "Yeah, I felt bad about it later." I was like, "Come on."
So you were standing there while she was saying this.
No.
She was on her own because he didn't just snatch your purse.
I said, "Hey, do you have your knife with you when he said that?" She goes, "Yeah, I'd stab that mother over you." But Poland is not America, right?
Indeed. And a lesson for you would-be purse snatchers. You never know who you're messing with.
She put some guy's eye out in fucking Poland, man. Some guys, 2 guys, they were like, she said, I didn't know whether they were going to try to rape me or whether they were going to try to take my phone. In either case, neither one was going to happen. She'd taken martial arts, and she set upon that guy's eyeball and wouldn't
wow.
We wouldn't fucking let, and there was just, she goes, I had never seen so much blood in my life. And the other guy, there were 2 of them, got so fucking panicked because the guy was doing these super animalistic screams. She's really nice with animals, but and so she came back through there the next day because it was on her way to work. And there was blood all over the fucking pavement. She goes, I bet that guy was blind. I feel kind of bad now. I was like, well, hey, you'd have felt worse if he had raped you. So,
yeah, that's I'll just leave that there. All right, so Joe Lauzon, Jim Miller.
Care. It's a care.
Yes, it's a massive care. In 2012, they beat the holy piss out of each other. It was the living death, as Ken Shamrock famously said. And Miller got the decision, but I guess these guys are in a cul-de-sac where there's nowhere to go but squeezing that juice one more time.
Yep.
And, oh, my God.
I'm going to give it to Lauzon, but that's
really.
Yeah.
Lauzon has looked – I thought he looked like he was continuing to improve in his last one, actually. And has gotten less hapless. And that Miller fight was one of the first times we saw Lauzon really banging on the feet.
And he's approaching the end, too. So I think, he fights like a man renewed. I'm going – but, whatever.
Well, I got to go for Jim Miller then, just because.
Okay. I mistakenly had pegged somebody, a pro fighter I know had trained with Jim Miller and said that he punched like his hands were made of pillows. And then I asked him about it later, and he goes, I never said that. And I was like, oh, somebody's punchy, and it's probably not me. And then one of the Millers, I'm pretty sure, went to train with Cesar Gracie and got his arm broken. That much I do accurately remember. It's like, and I think it was Nate who broke it. He's like, look, you're in my division. You're not on a team that's correlated. You're going to come here and train, and I'm going to slap a fucking armbar, and you're going to resist? Come on, man. You got to know that I'm going to pop your fucking elbow. That's what's going to happen. So,
wow. Was that Jim or his big brother Dan?
I think it was Jim, but I could again. Who knows? I go back to the same guy. He goes, I never said that. So,
MMA Journalist of the Year right here.
No, it's like we said yesterday, man, when we were talking about on If I Did It, to use a callback. It's like, how do you know my name is Eugene Robinson? In fact, I tell you, for years, I thought I was a junior. Turns out, after I tracked down my 85-year-old grandmother, I am not a junior at all.
What's her name? Donna Shalala, perchance?
No. What's my father's real name?
It's Eugene, not...
So you Donna Shalala me, but you don't know the story. So
no. Come on.
You ineffectively applied the Donna Shalala thing. So
yeah. So now tell us what your dad's real name is.
Stanley Eugene.
I see. And yours... and yours is Eugene Stanley.
Yeah, and I asked her if she was sure. It was great. And this 85-year-old woman just looks at me like, A2 Brutus, another dumbass. I was like, it's like when Fred Flintstone would go, shrink down to like 3 inches tall.
Ouch. You can't power your car that way if you're only 3 inches tall. All right, moving right along. Now
you're picking Miller, is that right?
I'm picking Miller, yeah, just because, we've got two what they'd call blue-collar guys, even though Lauzon's occupation makes him technically white-collar.
Yep, he's a white-collar computer IT guy.
Although, does IT guy really have the same respect that we once afforded to professions such as accounting and law?
Well, let's ask. Hey, does the IT guy have the same respect that we once afforded to
accounting and law?
Accounting and law. He says, he says no, not even close. There you go. So when his IT guy shows up in his office, he's like treats him like a janitor.
Is it more like the guy that used to pump gas back when that was an occupation?
Yeah, you're nice to him, so he doesn't fuck up your computer. Yeah, it's like the guy who used to pump gas.
That is weird. I mean, this is going to come back on me. I have this sick.
This friend of mine actually had a thing for guys who used to pump gas. She used to have sex with gas station workers. I go, how does that pay off? She goes, I got lots of free gas.
Hey,
like, yeah, never thought of that.
Hey, I mean, got to use
the edge. Yeah, but this of course is when gas was like 75 cents a gallon. So yeah, it was a questionable.
I see. Well, that was pre-inflation. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So women's strawweight: Paige VanZant and Beck Rawlings.
Oh, come here. No, come on. We just came on the women's fight, and we have a woman MMA fighter here. She's now refusing to come on camera. Paige VanZant and who else?
Beck Rawlings.
And Beck Rawlings. You have a pick. You pick Beck Rawlings?
No, I just repeated the name.
Oh, she just repeated the name. Paige VanZant versus. You got to be on camera. I'm not going to talk across the room. Okay. Come on. Take it 2 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. You can put it in the intro. Here, I'll make some room for Jenna Castillo, ladies and gentlemen. She's hiding.
All right. And
all right. Oh, like I said, you can't hear. I'm put the headphones so you can hear. Okay, so go ahead. So Paige VanZant, Beck Rawlings.
Does she care?
First of all, do you care about that fight?
Yeah, I think it will change the rankings. I think depending on the future of the UFC and how they're going with their media stars, I think if Paige wins, Beck's a credible opponent. I like her interview that she gave last time, and she makes a lot of great points how she couldn't afford anything compared to Paige, who just came off of Dancing with the Stars. So if Paige can come back compared to her last fight against what's her name, Rose, and getting pretty tore up and knocking a lot of the ranking that she had.
Yep.
If Paige wins, it's good for her, but I would like to see someone like Beck win. I don't know I can't remember who she fought last. If it was a battle or not.
Who?
Beck Rawlings. Let me look. I've got Wikipedia at my fingertips, and her last fight was Seo Hee Ham, and she beat her by decision. Before that, she beat Lisa Ellis by submission.
So she's 1-2.
I think Paige has really good cardio because of her youth. I think Beck is tough. I think it'll go 3 rounds, and I want Beck to win. I don't know how Paige is after going through the whole Dancing with the Stars series, but I'm going to go Beck decision, 3 rounds.
Boom. There you have it.
Boom.
All right.
Thank you.
What do I get if I win?
Oh, you get to come back on the show.
No.
Hey, I could have done like Luke said, we don't have a call-in show, and then it's done. So I'm gonna have to go with Jenna on this one, just for the hell of it, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll take
because I'm not gonna be north-butted, so I won't. I'm sorry. They're putting a lot of energy behind Paige. I'm not. I just got to resist a little bit. So I'm gonna pick Rawlings.
I just got to go where the money is, and if Paige wins, hey, sky's the limit. She's going to be big. This gal's going to be a huge star. Eugene.
Who was she sitting next to at the fight? She was sitting next to somebody fucking famous at the fight.
At 202?
Huh?
At 202? No.
Yeah, 202. Sorry. Yeah. Who? Like some.
You know, I watched that fight on the floor of a restroom at a Holiday Inn airport suite, which was just as glamorous as it sounds. So.
I don't know why you were on the floor of a restroom.
Because the wife and kids are asleep in the room, and it's the only place I could go.
I thought you were trying to make a few dollars.
No. If you're that kind of work.
A few dollars the hard way.
They don't let you watch the fights if you're doing that kind of work. That's
okay.
Customers expect the concentration, attention. I wouldn't want people to think I was,
You know, I used to go to that Triple X theater down on the Lower East Side. That it was right where.
Oh, that was like in the 70s. That was
the 70s, right? Where Jodie Foster first tries to jump into De Niro's cab in Taxi Driver. It was a place called Variety Photo Plays. You can look it up. And heaven forbid you should be in that theater and have to use the restroom. Don't be in that theater and have to use the restroom. There were a lot of people in the restroom.
I see.
A lot of people. A lot of homeless guys in the restroom. A lot of homeless guys in the restroom getting flown $1 blowjobs by transgendered prostitutes in the restroom.
I see. The homeless guys were the customers.
The homeless guys were the customers, man.
Wow.
You could pay 75 cents, double feature all day, one entry, and you had, if you could spend the rest of your dollar on,
I believe there's a Hindu sect that actually encourages their followers to demean themselves as much as possible through prostitution, and that would be,
as we call it, Eugenism.
Yes, Eugenism, indeed.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I'm just joking. Yes. I'm just joking.
That Eugene is the first thing that comes to mind when we think of you, Eugene.
Yeah.
How did we become so generous and enlightened, oh Swami? Yeah. All right, so now featherweight, Anthony Pettis versus Charles Oliveira, former lightweight champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, moving on down against the prodigal Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira was actually a don't care who moved to a care, man, if you remember.
Did you not care about Charles Oliveira? Because he's been, he was like heavily touted ages ago. I
don't know. First of all, I care. And second of all, I'm picking Oliveira, man. I'm thinking Pettis is in a hole from which he'll never return.
See, I saw Oliveira live in Austin, September 15th, 2010, tossing Efren Escudero around back when that meant something, bouncing him off the cage. Do you remember that?
I do.
Bouncing the cage. I think it wasn't a suplex, hip toss, I think maybe. But so I've cared about Oliveira low these many years, and it was it's been a cruel thing. But Pettis has also been cruel to his fans. A pretty big disappointment from a guy that some of us went on the air blathering about how he's going to be a future superstar repeatedly.
I didn't.
I hope you've learned your lesson on that one.
I didn't.
So we got 3 straight losses here on Pettis' part since he's lost the title. Split decision.
I'm waiting for you to get up to the edge of that cliff in Acapulco and just throw yourself off right now. Because
the thing is, Oliveira is not going to be wrestling him. And he's a good jiu-jitsu guy and a so-so Muay Thai guy, and Pettis is just going to feast on his stand-up, and that's that.
So you're going to pick Pettis?
Oh, yeah, I'm picking Pettis. Bucks, son.
All right, I'm picking Oliveira. So all right, there we go. We got 2 pieces of action. There we go.
There we go. I mean, what more can you expect from a card like this? It's a Fox card, you know. You can watch with the wife, kids. You don't have to invite any creeps over to pay your pay-per-view bills. You can just be the king of your castle, you know.
You got to realize, of course, that I am one of the creeps that gets invited over.
I was just thinking of that. Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Hey, bud, what are you doing tonight?
And you know, I'm just gonna tell any of your hosts, if your wife or girlfriend starts asking, "Isn't Eugene coming to the fights tonight?"
Yeah.
You got trouble.
Yeah. He's such a funny guy.
Yeah, I think he's blowing homeless guys in the restroom there down on East 42nd Street.
No, not East 42nd Street. It was 13th.
That's way down deep.
Yeah. It's like 13th Street and 2nd Avenue, something like that.
Huh? That's close to where the old 5 Points neighborhood was.
Yeah, I guess they turned it into last time a dinner theater. So it goes, man.
Is that close to Little Italy or Chinatown?
No. It's across town. Man, you remember I used to go to Stuyvesant when it was on 15th Street and 1st Avenue by Stuyvesant Town. So it was a couple blocks from there. I mean,
it
was exactly like who took the Houses of Holy. I think they took their photograph there, and those apartment buildings where
it's more like, yes, I see. This is old New York, Stuyvesant Town.
If you type in Variety Photo Plays, you can actually see a Variety Photo Plays.
This is the East Village, is what.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. If you went to 12th or 11th, you know, you stood a good chance of being chased and beaten up by Puerto Ricans. So we still call it the Lower East Side.
I see. Yes, it's not quite the East Village, but close. It's Stuyvesant Town. I see. It's a little bit north.
Stuyvesant.
Stuyvesant. You know, I can't pronounce words. Words.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was Variety Photo Plays, man. It was a hell. You know, you always take a newspaper because you got to put it on the seat because you don't want strange fluids.
I see. Unless you want strange fluids.
I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
That's what the guys would ask you.
Some people can't stop thinking about it, Eugene.
We would go with friends. We play not hooky, but if they let school out early, we go for 75 cents. Go to Variety Photo Plays for half an hour or something. We would go, and then the guy goes, "Hey," some old guy walks up to you. You're sitting there trying to enjoy the movie. "Hey, want a cigarette?" No.
Pretty charming come on line.
No. Then he was like, either you got a cigarette or you want a cigarette. I was like, hey, man, make up your mind. He's like, you make up yours. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Go. I don't want your cigarette. Thank you. And I have no cigarette for you. Thank you.
That's a slice from life's other side. Keep on the sunny side with Eugene S. Robinson. Yes.
And that taxi driver used to have a lot of resonance for me for a lot of different reasons. All right. And in fact, the crazy guy who's walking down the street, I'll fucking kill him. That guy, he was like a neighborhood fixture, you know?
And Scorsese just captured the magic.
Really? He just happened to capture the magic. So
I see. And I'm sure he generously cut him in on royalties.
Actually, Gene Palmer, the street drummer, I spent an afternoon with that guy, and he was like, he loved Scorsese. He was still working the streets after the movie came out. The only difference being that his sign said, the drummer from Taxi Driver. But he was as fucking crazy as the day was long. Wore shoe polish on his head.
Do you know the story of how Phil Spector came to own a piece of Martin Scorsese's entire career?
No, tell me.
So Phil Spector's sitting at home one day in 1974, and John Lennon gives him a call. And he's like, Phil, and I'm not going to do the Scouse impression, but just imagine in the adorable Liverpudlian accent, Phil, your fucking music's in this fucking movie, and it's fucking great. And so Phil's like, my song's in a movie? And that sounds lucrative. And so he tracks down, and Scorsese had done Mean Streets as a student film and used one of Phil Spector's many classics as a homage, you know, and to the music he loved growing up. And Phil arranged a meeting for himself and Scorsese and the team with some of Phil's lawyers and some of Phil's goons, and walks out with a piece of Martin Scorsese in perpetuity.
Fucking A.
For not pulling the film from release. Yeah.
Fucking A, man. That's
yep.
You know, who was it? There was a Oliver Stone movie, U-Turn, where I'm convinced they used a guitar part from an Oxbow song, and I tried to get my guitar player to listen to it. He goes, I'm not sure. It's the fuck. I've listened to it 100 times in the studio. I'm telling you, but it's just a guitar part. So, you know, and he's like, I don't want to, you know, Stone, I don't want to sue. I was like, oh yeah, well fuck that. You know, I'm the litigious one. So he wouldn't pursue it, and I don't want to pick it up. But
do you remember the band I Hate God?
Of course. Mike Williams is a friend of mine.
Well, we gave him a demo tape of my band once, and they swiped the intro to a song we did. So
hey,
we were flattered, and yet there's a couple of rednecks in Borger, Texas. If they ever see those "I Hate God" guys, are
oh, Mike is so tiny. There's no point in that. Yeah.
Well,
no, but hey,
anyway, Texas that. And
I put some photos in the fight book of Kevin Randleman and Maurice Smith, and the photographer who had taken the photograph, this guy Richard, had taken them for me at Code Magazine, and I already talked about him in a general way about using them, but we hadn't talked about money. And I talked to him again, and he flipped out. He goes, "You never gave clearance," and he goes, and I had to negotiate. What he didn't know is that the book had already been printed. So he could have demanded anything, and I would have had to pay him. I said, well, look, I don't want to have to pull it from the book, leading him to believe that we had a choice at this point. And he goes out, and he ganked me for $2,000. It hurt.
I bet that felt good. I bet that felt like he felt like a king.
He did, or me?
He did.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
because the way HarperCollins works is $10,000 before the book, $10,000 after the book, and you got to pay for everything yourself out of it. I had to pay for photos and all that shit. So that was my little margin of profit, was going to be that $2,000. I had to pay that fucking prick.
Well, that's a lesson. Don't steal people's photos, Eugene.
Yeah, whatever, man. I paid the guy once for him. So
yeah. Pay the guy. Pay the man.
All right. So we got Oliveira and Pettis. Okay, let's move it on.
And I'm picking Pettis, and I think as much as I love Oliveira, kids burn me plenty.
Okay.
But Pettis has burned me plenty, but I still think Pettis – I think Pettis can beat him. But we'll see. Size cut, the whole bit. I don't know. Now you're making me have a crisis of confidence, Eugene. It sounds like one of your impotence stories, like you were telling yesterday.
You just can't get it up.
Yeah.
How you try.
And the way you were describing it, it sounds terrifying. I'd hate to get it.
It is terrifying, man. You got to get out of that loop. Some guy wrote me for the Sex with Eugene column. Man, he was haunted. He's like, his marriage is falling apart. He had a great sex life, and one day he stumbled, and he's not been able to unstumble himself. It's tragic.
I had this brief period where I was making 6 figures a year and had a steady girlfriend and a wife, a very hot wife, and I was taking a lot of OxyContin. And one day the flag didn't rise, and then I fell out of bed. Then I wet the bed with with a third woman in it, and then I slowly started to realize, maybe these pills. It was actually Vicodin, and that's I thought I was fucking dying. And then I realized, maybe 18 of these a day, couple over the line, so.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, that
Man,
was.
Yeah.
I just found out last night. Do you know who Mother Maybelle Carter was, Eugene?
Yeah, as a singer.
Of course, as a guitarist and singer. She wanted to do One Toke Over the Line, Sweet Jesus, back in the late 60s when she was on the folk revival circuit.
Yeah.
And her granddaughters had to explain to her that wasn't appropriate for the Carter family act.
Well, it's too bad. Yeah, that's when I had an incident like that involved ketamine, but
Did you fall in the K-hole?
Yeah, well, how can I put this?
You weren't doing ketamine at work, were you?
No. It was with some porn star, and then I fell face forward in her vagina, and I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all, and I couldn't breathe, and I go, I'm gonna fucking die, and this is how they're gonna fucking find me, and I go, this is humiliating. This is. Did she realize you were in distress, or was she just happy? Well, she was also inebriated, so it was. There was nothing inherently. It was.
So were you actually having sex with her, or just doing drugs together and fell into a sexual position?
No, sex was involved. Right?
I see.
But it was undignified. That's all. It was not embarrassing for any other reason. It's just undignified to be found with your ass in the air and your face down. And so I tried to do like I do with jiu-jitsu, like, Popeye, breathe out of the side, but I couldn't control myself. And then finally I just relaxed. I go, that's it. I start to black out, and she shifted her hips, and I fell off on the floor, and I was like, Whoo! I lived another day.
Sweet, sweet deliverance. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I can't remember if my favorite part of my little Vicodin phase was when my cleaning lady came into my house and cleaned up the pool of vomit next to my bed without even saying hi, you know? Or
oh man,
if it was the coworker who was easily the most beautiful woman I've ever almost had in my hands. I fumbled on the goal line with her so bad that she went from getting shit-faced at like I had to avoid company events for a while because this guy would get shit-faced and try to kiss me in front of everybody. If she would like kiss me in the corner, I'd be fine. But she'd like, you know.
Yeah.
And so
you got to give that discretion speech.
Yeah.
And then have it taken seriously.
Yeah,
you know?
like she was, I don't know, somewhere she learned the sorority mating girl.
Yeah.
Sorority girl mating call, I'm so wasted. And yeah. But so the tables turned completely though.
Yeah, the hunter became the hunted.
I botched it so bad and found myself rock climbing on Enchanted Rock in front of my wife and her live-in boyfriend who's belaying me, who's holding the rope.
This is like Alfred Hitchcock. This is Alfred Hitchcock, man.
Yes, as I'm clinging to this rock, trying to show off for the ladies that I'm not a complete pussy, which of course I am, but you know, I'm getting way beyond my comfort zone.
If I'm that guy, I'm yanking the rope, and
I'm just hoping he didn't know.
Yeah.
Because you know he could have.
That was foolhardy.
It was. That's how the hubris was.
Okay.
Anyhow.
All right. So let's get to these last fights because I got
fights. Demian Maia and Carlos Condit. This is it.
That's all. Yeah. Okay. Damian. You know what? I'm a Demian Maia booster from way back, and Condit has continually disappointed me. But
how is Condit disappointed?
I just don't like the accountant thing, you know.
Accountant thing.
Yeah, he makes me feel like he's an accountant.
But his nickname is the Natural Born Killer.
I'm not buying it.
Don't you remember his WEC days when he was the champ and would just have these hellacious wars in that tiny cage every time he fought?
I remember. But
elbows, knees, the clinch.
I'm gonna make the I'm shooting for the moon on this, given the fact that I gave the entire card a 6, and I want to fulfill your fantasy of having 5 cares. Well, because I do care about this fight, but I'm gonna pick Maia. Just fuck it, why not?
Well, that's perfectly fair. I mean, Maia's on a hot streak. He's got 5 straight wins. Condit,
5 straight wins. It's not a stupid pick on my part.
No, not at all. Condit, in fact, has lost 4 out of his last 6.
Yep.
But these have been things like title fights against Robbie Lawler, a fight against current champion Tyrone Woodley in which Condit's knee was injured, lost to Johnny Hendricks in a fight of the night when Hendricks that was for the open title fight too.
You know, when you say Johnny Hendricks now and I think of Johnny Hendricks' face, I get sad.
I feel like I know Johnny Hendricks because of being from this region, and I don't feel sad at all.
Yeah, I know. People have said he's a dick and they hate him, but so anyway, hold on. You picking who are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick
I'm just gonna pick Condit to make it interesting. Although I feel like Maia is hotter right now. I think Condit stylistically has a little bit of an edge. Although his edge is mostly in the clinch fighting with his Muay Thai game. And if you want to be clinch fighting with Demian Maia, you're not going to be on your feet for very long.
You're asking for trouble.
Because Maia is not only an excellent jiu-jitsu guy, he's a bit of a judo artist as well.
Yep. Yeah.
And I remember my favorite Carlos Condit WEC fight, he fought a judoka way, way back in the day and got tossed. He won the fight handily, but got tossed. It was Hiromitsu Miura at WC 35 in 2008. And Condit, Miura did like a judo exhibition and also showed the limitations of judo and MMA because he kept throwing him into positions that were not that bad for Condit.
Yeah, right. Hey, I do remember. Hey, do you remember that the drunken Japanese judo team a few Olympics back? But my sense of time is so bad that could be 20 years ago. But they got in the Olympic Village. They were drunk and they called the cops out. You got to get these guys out of there. And it was just they had to call like backup after backup. Yeah. That's in that way. I think Eddie Bravo is sort of instructive. Like unless you actually try to fight inebriated, I think your awareness of where your baseline is kind of fuzzy. You know, I mean, what you could do when you're is like drunken kung fu. What you could do when you're like been drinking or drunk is probably stuff that's really stuck with you. You know,
Yes.
so I think the whole Joe Rogan and the Eddie Bravo thing of rolling when high. It's got to be. I mean, not all the time, but it's probably have a glass of wine, a couple of glasses of wine. I mean, some of my best jiu-jitsu days have been when I only had 2 or 3 hours of sleep. I mean, outside of falling asleep on the mat between rounds, it was pretty instructive.
The only credible basketball game I've had as an adult male was under the influence of 4 beers, when my limit at that time was about 7. So,
Okay, so there's something to be said.
So we're getting loose, and so
drunken monkey style.
So, are you saying Condit's going to be drunk? Is that how we got?
I'm still picking Maia.
Picking Maia. Yeah. I mean, because if it turns into a jiu-jitsu match, but I don't see. Maia won his last fight because he was able to get on dude's back, on Matt Brown's back, for the entire duration of 3 full rounds, basically. And Brown fended him off, and couldn't fend him off anymore. About 4 minutes into the 3rd round. I think Condit can defend that rear naked choke all day. And I don't see him letting Maia get on his back. So
whatever. You've made your bed, now lay in it.
Exactly. That's what the gal who not only did her boyfriend nearly kill me on a rock, she then calls me out for being stoned on Vicodin in a meeting in front of all the big bosses.
That's a fucking problem, man.
That was, yeah.
Did she think she was helping you?
Yes. Well, I mean, she thought, that was her. She could say, I thought I was helping you. But with the look in her eyes, she was like, and fuck you to death,
Hey, there's a guy used to be a roommate of mine. And when I had my store, his recent ex-girlfriend came in and gave me her phone number. Said, you should call sometime. So I do the East Coast guy thing. I go to him and say, hey, man, your ex just gave me her phone number. What do you – he's like, blah, 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 blah. I go, no, I'm not asking for bullshit bravado. You work for me. We're roommates.
You signal.
You got it?
Keep talking.
Yeah.
It just staticked out for a second, but now it's back.
All right. We're roommates.
Keep talking.
We work for me. We're friends. And then he kind of thought he knew I was serious. I go, you say the word, I toss the number in the garbage. So he goes, well, actually, she's more like my sister now. Do whatever you want. So I guess you got a weird echo.
I mean,
now.
If he really cared about his, if he really cared about his sister, would he say to you, "Do whatever you want"?
Probably. So then I start dating. I start dating this woman. And he's in a band, and he says, "Hey, Yuji, can I borrow one of your guns for a video?"
Yes.
So one night we're in the room. And making noise, and after we finish making noise, there's a knock on the door. And I go, who is it? And he goes, it's me, Paul. I go, oh shit. I go, what do you want? He's like, I want that gun. So I got the gun. I got the gun under my pillow, right? Because I'm one of those paranoid guys who sleeps with a gun under the pillow. So I grabbed the gun. All I know is I got to get him out of there. I grabbed the gun. I opened the door and I shoved the gun into his fucking hand. He looks at me. He looks at her. He looks at me. He looks at her. And he takes the gun. And then I go, hey, wait a minute. Do you need this loaded? And then I realize what I've done. But before I haven't let it go. So I push the gun into his hand. I'm still holding on to the barrel like this. And then I have to I start to pull it, and he starts to hold it tight. And I go, he could shoot us both and get away with it. So I yank it up like this to get it out of his hand. Pop the clip, and then I say, here, and I give him the gun, and then he looks beyond me. He goes, hi, Jessica.
A charming near brush with death from the television. And now the audio is totally weird. There's a weird
echo
lag.
That was my
my
counter to your rock climbing story, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good one. Except at the beginning of yours, you didn't say, "So my life is totally in your hands right now," and then give significant looks to everybody involved, and they said uneven square. No. Yeah. All right. So that's our show, and a sordid tour through ancient history it was. Remember, follow us on Twitter at KidNate, at Eugene S. Robinson. Read Eugene at Aussie.com. Sometimes Vice's Fightland. Although
I got a piece up today about Bronski beat and gay anthems.
All right. I couldn't tell them from erasure back in the day. So does that discredit me as a?
It's hard to tell, but when you hear Small Town Boy, you'll know.
Ah, yes, that Small Town Boy. That's the story of my life. All right, so. Let's see. I did the Twitter thing. Read me at bloodyelbow.com. Subscribe to MMANation.com. Here, give us a thumbs up on the video, and not how you.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Thumbs up.
Yeah, that's how you do it. But there's actually a thumbs up icon right there on the screen. Subscribe to us on MMA Nation on iTunes, so you can get the audio without the ugly. And Zane and Connor will be back with the vivisection for this card for actual in-depth prepared analysis. Exactly. Zane and I'll be back for the 6th round post-fight. And Eugene will have Knuckle Up on Sunday, and we'll rinse and repeat.
Sunday, my birthday. It'll be a short show.
All right. So going to be 65 this year. Exciting day. Exciting day.
Guy.
I'm just a comedian. All right. Adios, MMA aficionados. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Eugene.
Later, man.